Okay, you guys. So I'm here with Laura doing this little documentary. Hey, Laura.
Hey,
How are
I'm
you?
alright.
Okay. Laura, so I'm doing this documentary about, the LGBT community and, domestic violence and wanted to get your input on it. How do you feel? What does domestic violence mean to you? How can you avoid, certain people? Well, let me rephrase that. How do you know when somebody's, either being abused mentally, physically, emotionally, financially when it comes to domestic violence? Have, you ever been in this situation? And, just pretty much your thoughts on it.
Well, I have dealt with domestic violence on the job and in my personal life. And I don't know too many people that haven't dealt with domestic violence in their personal life. I mean, it affects everybody, regardless of their race, gender identity, sexual orientation.
Right.
Everyone has to deal with it at some time or another. But it seems like domestic violence programs, education is geared towards heterosexual, straight communities.
Okay.
And it's always the female who is the victim, and
Right.
the male who is the aggressor, and that's not always the case.
Right.
So, in my personal life, I've had to deal with it, and I'm not ashamed to say it now because I moved on.
Okay.
But I've had to deal with it, me being the victim.
Okay.
And believe it or not, me being the aggressor.
Oh, wow.
And I'll say the aggressor part because it wasn't anything physical, but you can verbally abuse somebody too.
Yeah.
And so I think all of us have to realize that when you fight with somebody, it could be abuse if you let it get out of control. And if you are the person who wants to maintain the control in the relationship, you can be verbally abusing somebody. So I learned a lot from that personal experience, but on the job, I see it all the time.
Okay.
And people don't even recognize it. I may recognize it because I'm a licensed social worker, but most people in the community, in public, don't even recognize it. They just think physical or sexual abuse.
Right.
It doesn't have to be that. It can be verbal abuse as well. And you can batter somebody emotionally with verbal abuse.
Okay. So I see that you have a Gender Now banner in the background, and could you, tell people what gender stands for, and do you believe, in gender? Like, what is your, experience with gender?
GENDA stands for the Gender Expression Non-Discrimination Act. And it's a bill in New York State that is trying to be passed. It was already passed in the House, in the Assembly of New York State, but it has yet to pass the Senate. And it's 12 years old. It's long overdue to be passed. And the bill is to protect the rights of all people who are of transgender and gender non-conforming experience.
Right.
And what that means is that anybody who goes against their traditional or society's traditional gender roles in public, they cannot be discriminated against. And right now, throughout the state, not in specific localities. In New York City, there's a bill on the books to protect people of transgender and gender non-conforming experience. However, it's not statewide. So you can go to certain parts of New York State as a transgender or gender non-conforming person and be discriminated against. Like you can be refused a job, you can be refused health insurance, you can be refused education, you can be refused housing, you can be refused any services if you're a person of transgender or gender non-conforming experience, and that's just not right. Because it has a person's gender identity has nothing to do with their needs. If a person needs something, they shouldn't be discriminated against when they have to go find it.
Okay. So, I see that, you and a couple of, other, friends of yours. And, well, matter of fact, before we get into that, what do you, do?
I am a social worker
in
a housing program working with people of transgender and gender nonconforming experience.
Okay.
So I care very, very much about my job.
Okay.
And I've been a social worker, or I've been in the social work field, I should say, for 15 years.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah. But I've had my license for about 4. But I have to say, I've never enjoyed working with a bunch of people as much as I've worked. Enjoyed working with you. I really, really, truly love my clients at this program that I'm working with.
Okay. Well, shout out to the clients that Laura works with. You girls rock. You girls rock. Okay, so a few of us have went up to, Albany to fight for gender. And how was that experience for you?
Well, we went up there recently. That was on, when was that? May 8th. It was for Equality and Justice Day. And that's an annual event put on by the Empire State Pride Agenda. That's the same organization that got same-sex marriage passed in New York State. And so now they're fighting very, very hard to get gender passed. Okay. So me and 4 other people, including you, went to...
she lying, y'all. She lying. I didn't go. She lying.
Well, she's just fighting like I'm fighting. We went to Albany on the 8th, and we had a very good time.
It's a lot of fun, you guys. A lot of fun.
I mean, it's not always serious fighting for your rights. It can be, but it can be fun, too. You just got to make it fun. So we saw a lot of presentations. Yeah. There was a rally. Unfortunately, it was raining, so it was inside, but still, a senator spoke. The senator who sponsors the bill, the gender bill in Albany, his name is Ron Squadron. Y'all look him up. Yes, he's very good to us. Very good to us.
Y'all look him up. Say that name. Can you give that name one more time?
Ron Squadron.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't know. I think he's like a state senator here in New York City. Okay. I'm not 100% sure because I see him a lot here in the city. Right. But he definitely fights for people, for all LGBT people. But he does fight for the T. Okay. Yes.
All right. So, I mean, what else could I ask you? Well, I really don't have any more, questions to ask. I mean, you were a great help, with this whole documentary that I'm putting together. And, once I edit certain things, that I want in and certain things out, you will be a part of the, whole picture that I'm trying to put together, of different people, somebody who has a laptop so I can, just save the stuff and put it on a flash drive and just make, a whole big video, but not really big, not too long, but, a short little video of what, certain people feel about it. So basically, Laura, I'm going to say that's all the questions that I have for you, and thank you for being a part of it.
Well, actually.
Yes.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yes, you can.
Because we were talking about domestic violence earlier. I just wanted to get, real quickly, the specifics in the LGBT, but especially T. Okay. Since I work with people of transgender and gender nonconforming experience, it is true. They are not really focused on when it comes to domestic violence. Right. And people of transgender and gender nonconforming experience can be victims of domestic violence just as much as I can. Right. Or you can, or my sister, or my brother, or anybody on the street can. So, but because most of the time, if a person's gender identity is not accepted in our society, then everything else about them is not accepted. Right. So that's uncalled for. And people die when it comes to domestic violence. So